Alright, let me get you caught up on where we're at. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're in the beginning of a new week. I left you on the last episode. We have finally finished spraying every single panel that we need to put this truck back together. So now comes the time where we're sanding, buffing, and reassembly, right? We are down to the wire. We are going to get this thing done. And so let me show you what I've done so far. So I've sanded this with 1,000, wet sanded, dry sanded 1,000, wet sand 2,000, wet sand 5,000, right? I buffed it last night with some compound all the way across, buffed the tailgate, buffed everything. Looks like it's going to turn out okay. I am going to wait till I get this bed placed back onto the truck frame itself before I wash it, and then I will go into doing my final compounding, my final polishing on this, right? So as you can see, there's a lot of halos and everything where I've actually buffed it last night, but I'm telling you guys, the reflection on this thing, like I said, the customer said he wanted to be able to shave in it. This light is not doing it justice behind me, but it is very reflective. I mean, you can read off of this thing. And so, like I said, a lot of this haze is from the buffing compound that I used, because it was a heavy cut buffing compound. But whenever I polish it, wash it, and polish it, all of this should come out. All right, whole bed is done that way. Last night I actually started sanding on this hood. So, been using 1,000 dry on my flat block. Like I said, I went over the majority of the flat side panels with DA first, 1,000 dry. I'm going to go over this now with a hand block to get into these areas here where this rib is, and then like these areas here. And then once I do that, I will guide coat it with white guide coat, and then I will sand it with 2,000 to ensure that I get the sand scratches from the 1,000 out of it, right? So I'm gonna set you guys up here on the side, do a time lapse so you can see me doing it, so you can see me sanding on it. And hopefully by the time all this is said and done, this hood will be completely sanded tonight, I hope. I'm trying not to stay out here as late as I have been here lately, just so that I can get home, get some rest, and actually keep going at the speed that I'm going at. So possibly Thursday, Friday, I'm going to start sanding on the cab, see if I can get it completely sanded. Friday will be my long night like usual, but I'll see if I can get that whole cab completely sanded all the way up to 5,000 wet, and then that way all I have to do is finish assembling everything, put the interior panels back on, put all of the badges back on it. I've still got to put a 4x4 logo on the back of this thing. Still got to put the Ford F-250 logos on this thing. I've got all those blacked out. So hopefully everything looks like the customer wants. I'm still got to put the windshield molding around it. And I talked to Dad last night, and I think we're going to black those out as well. That way there's nothing on this truck that's going to be chrome other than whatever type wheels the customer does, right? Currently there's some like steel wheels excuse me, polished, but he is going back with a new set of rims and tires on it. So yeah, wiring, all that good stuff still got to happen. Set you up so you can see me sand this thing, and so we can get you some content this week. So this is what 1,000 grit DA hand sanded still looks like. As you can see, my edges are still raw. They're not, I tried to stay off of the edges, off as much as I could, because like I said, you end up burning through those if you're not careful whenever you buff. And so what we'll do now is I've got a couple spots that were just some spots in the clear. They're not going to come out, but you'll never see them once this is completely buffed. So what I'm going to do now is I'll wet sand with 2000 and that hand block, just like you saw. I'll go over every square inch of this panel, and then I'll come back over it with the DA with 5000 and a sponge pad, and that way it should you should be able to see a reflection in it after that. You can kind of see some right there now, which is just a reflection off of that window of that light right there. Right, so you can kind of see that. Like I said, most of the shine's already here. What this is doing is this is just flattening the clear out, because the flatter you can get the clear, the more depth you'll have within the actual look of the paint itself. Right, so if there's a lot of texture, it's going to make it look duller, whereas if it's smooth and flat, slick, it's going to make it look like it's like you could walk into it, basically. So like I told you before, the customer requested that he be able to shave in it. I know he was picking with me, but by the time we're finished with this, there shouldn't be any reason why he can't shave in it. So let's finish working on the 2000 wet sand, and then I'll bring you back after that and see if you can tell a difference in the reflections and stuff. Alright, so hopefully that made sense to you. That was 1000 grit dry, 2000 wet, 5000 wet on the DA. And as you can see, hopefully you can see the reflection of that light over there. There's not going to be much to buff here. Like I said, we're literally just bringing the shine back to it, right? Because right now it is flat and everything, all of the 2000s sanding marks are out of it. What you're seeing right now is the 5000 marks, and like I said, we'll end up buffing this, compounding it with a wool pad, and I'll show you that this time on the hood. And then we'll after we've compounded it, we'll wash it, get all that compound off, because that compound has grit in it, and then we will do a final glaze on it and polish it. That way we get the haze from the compound out of it after we finish washing it. So yeah, I think that's about it for tonight. I'm gonna head to the house and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Alright, let's see if we can polish this thing. I'm gonna try not to sling it on you on camera, but can't make no promises there. let me get you caught up. It's been a whirlwind of the last couple of weeks, but here we are. So got the windows put back in the truck, everything except for the back window. I still don't have it put in because I need some help. Dad's been out sick, so I hadn't had the help here to be able to do it. Hoping to try and get the bed put on the frame tomorrow night if nothing happens, so that way everything is out of the shop except for the hood. Hopefully Dad will get feeling better and we can put the hood on later on. I need to sand and buff the back half of this truck tonight, if at all possible, because I've got helpers coming in tomorrow to help me move the bed from inside the shop into here. So I still need to see if I can get some of this dust wiped off and pressure washed off of the frame, get everything kind of cleaned up, buttoned up, all the masking paper and plastic pulled off, and get everything to where it is ready for the bed to come on. I'm still working out the logistics of getting the bed through here, or possibly taking one of these poles out and coming through here to get back here where we can get into this bed area. So stick around. I'm gonna see how much I can show you tonight. Like I said, planning on sanding just this back half, probably maybe just the back corners there. Main thing is to get this area sanded and buffed, hopefully that as well, before the bed goes on, because it's going to be rather difficult to get in there if I don't go ahead and do it. So that's where we're at. Let's see what we can get done tonight. Let me walk you through what we did so far. 1000 grit guide coat with white guide coat, 2000 grit. Hadn't got to it yet. That'll take all this white guide coat off of it. Hadn't done anything to the doors. 1000 grit, white guide coat, 2000 grit, buffed it with #1 compound. And as you can see my reflection pretty doggone decent. You can even read my name tag in it. All the way around the back, I just did this section right in here. I didn't touch any of these because it's going to be covered with the bed up to about here. So like I said, all this has been done. And as you can see, you can pretty well see my reflection in all of it. This here is just a body line, so it's not going to be easy to see that, but all the way up top, you can see my reflection around there. It's clear enough you could read in it if you needed to. Like I said, you can read my name tag. Read my name tag in it. That's all. Alright, ladies and gents, I told you I was going to update you as soon as I could. We finally got the bed put back on. I've got tailgate in here. I've got a little bit more cutting I need to do around the 5th wheel hitch. It didn't quite line up the way that I thought it would, but we got all the hardware put in it. Everything's bolted up. Still got to get the back glass in it. And whenever I get the back glass in it, still got to finish buffing the bed, finish sanding the front half of the cab, and finish sanding this. Remember, this is already in 1000 guide coated. We're getting ready to do 2000 on it. I need to sand this with 1000 hard block, guide coat it, and then we can sand and buff the whole thing, right? So yeah, even got the cowl put back up on there. Like I said, it turned out okay, and I think everything will be all right with it. So now it's just a matter of getting the hood finished buffed, because I got it buffed coarse. I need to finish buffing it, and then I got to put the whole front end back on. Headlights, filler panel, bumpers, get everything buttoned back up, and then it's a matter of washing it, going over it one more time, and I think we will be able to send the okay to the owner, because it's getting to be about that time. It is coming together mighty fine, mighty fine. So I think we'll be okay. All right, guys, so where I left you off the other night was we just got the bed put on, right? Everything went smooth with that. We got everything put on it, and I've still got some trimming to do on the 5th wheel hitch, but we'll do that a little bit later on. Tonight, what I need to do is I need to get the rest of this cab corner sanded that I've already done 1000 on, I'm fixing to do 2000 wet on it, and I also need to get the rest of this front half of the cab finished. We still got to sand it with 1000, 2000, and then come back with 5000. Also got to do the top. We're going to try and do all this about the same time. Yeah, after that, after we get it buffed, I got to put mirrors back on, put a few more pieces of trim and interior pieces back in, put the trim around the windshield, put the hood on, a couple badges, some 4x4 stickers back here on the back, and I think we'll just about be done. Guys, for the rails, side rails, step rails are going to be coming in sometime, hopefully within the next week or two, and they'll start doing their work that they need to do on it to get everything finished and buttoned up so that they can get rhino lined. And yeah, so I'm gonna set you guys up in the corner. Let's see how much of this we can get done tonight. All right, let's see if we can hit this with 2000. Like I said, I've already blocked it with 1000. Guide coated it. Now we're gonna hit it with 2000. As you can see, this has already been hit with 2000. I still have to go over it with 5000 on a DA, but I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of this sanded with 2000 here real quick. A couple hours later, it is 10:30 and I am heading to the house. We got the rear cab 2000 and passenger door 2000. So all we'll have left to do is the front fender tomorrow, and then I'll start sanding the driver's side and see if we can get it all blocked out tomorrow evening, and that'll just leave us with the roof up top. So hopefully that will get us about where we need to be at. Everything's pretty well looking okay. Like I said, if I come across something that I see that might interest you, I'll keep you posted. But yeah, end of Thursday, so we're going to head to the house, try and get some rest, and then we'll get back at it tomorrow. All right, here we are back on another Friday evening. We still got to get this front fender finished with 2,000. Then I need to go over the whole entire thing with 5,000. And then I need to do the top and the driver's side. So I'm gonna set you up on the side over here, and let's see if we can get this front fender worked out as quick as we can. And then we'll see about going back over everything with 5,000 on the DA. Yeah, let's see what we can do.
FAYZED music.
So I've had several people ask me why I use white guide coat, right? So you can tell the difference between this door and the fender, right? So this has been sanded with 2,000. This has been sanded with 1,000, and then I put white guide coat over top of it. And this is the exact reason why. Do you see all those little scratches in there? Even whenever you get up into, I don't know how well we'll be able to see it. Maybe we can see it. Even when you get up into here, like I said, do you see all those scratches? So those are 1,000 grit scratches that the white guide coat is actually embedded into where I've put it over it. And I'm just lightly scuffing it, lightly sanding it until those scratches come out. This is a hard block, remember, so it's flat. It's always going to be flat, and so I'm sanding it until I get those scratches removed. Once I get those scratches removed, as you can see, there's a big difference between how this almost has a blue haze to it, where this is actually truly black, right? And so that's all of the scratches out of this area here, and we'll work the rest of this panel until we get all those scratches out. So like I said, as I'm working this panel, that's what you're seeing me do. You just see me go over this entire side here, just from here up, real quickly, and that's to knock the majority of the guide coat off, because like I said, I'm not worried about everything else in here. I'm strictly worried about the sand scratches from the 1,000 grit sandpaper, and these come from when I run the DA over it with 1,000 flat, and when I use the hard block flat with 1,000 grit. So that's what we're getting out now with 2,000 grit sandpaper. Okay, so once it's all sanded with 2,000, this is what it looks like. Now I'm gonna blow it off, dry it off, and then I'll go over it with 5,000, the fender, the door, and the back of the cab, there, side of the cab. All right, let's go over it with 5,000 now.
FAYZED music.
5,000. You can see it ain't gonna take a whole lot to actually buff this thing out because you can already see the reflection in it. So what we'll do, I need to get some plastic to go over the bed, tape it off. I need to tape the engine bay off as much as I can just to keep it separate, and then we'll start buffing some of this. All right, let's see if we can buff this thing a little bit, get you some shine to it, so it kind of keeps you interested and keeps you coming back for more till I can get the whole thing sanded and buffed. So this is after buffing with number one. Again, like I said, still needs to be washed. I didn't get from here up because I need to use my smaller buffer for that. I didn't want to take a chance burning through. But I mean, I'd call that pretty decent. That's what I'd call that. Like I said, you can see my hand. You can read my name in it. I think we're good with that. Like I said, a lot of these swirls and the hazing that you see on there, that'll come out with the secondary polish whenever I get to it. So we'll keep plugging away at it. I think I'm gonna shut this off here. Like I said, it's about 10:30. I think I'm gonna go on to the house because I got this side pretty well buffed, except for, like I said, except for around that door right there, just at the top. So I'll work on that next week. But yeah, I mean, everything seems to be okay. So we'll see what happens as we continue on to buff it. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one. Later.